This is the Louie T Network.
I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Louie? Yeah.
Overtime! So we head to overtime.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Thursday Night Football Overtime. New England Patriots, fresh off of a heartbreaking last-second loss at home to the Carolina Panthers, looking to get back to their winning ways versus a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that won in similar fashion in Week 4 versus the New York Giants at home to get their record to 2-1 on the season. And so you're looking at two teams coming off vastly different outcomes, looking to, in one case, the Buccaneers looking to continue their winning ways, and in the case of the Patriots, just looking to do what they do best, avoid two-game losing streaks. They may lose one, they rarely lose two in a row. And so you had to know that they were going to come out with the mindset of, let's find a way. It doesn't have to be pretty, just needs to be gritty, and most importantly, a dub. You knew they were going to come out with a mindset that we'll do whatever it takes. If we got to run it, and they ran it a lot more tonight than we've seen them run it all season long. They'll do whatever it takes. And that's what they did. It wasn't pretty. No Gronk really hindered what they wanted to do offensively. And so you saw a ton of Amendola, a ton of Hogan, a ton of Cooks, and a ton of the backs out of the backfield, most notably James White. So that was the story of the game from a passing standpoint. Those were the contributors there. On the rushing side of things, you saw a lot of Dion Lewis tonight. Saw some Gillislee out of the backfield. They sprinkled in some James White, but for the most part, it was Dion Lewis and it was Gillislee handling the load in terms of rushing the rock. But the Patriots did run the football, made a concerted effort to keep it on the ground at times. A number of different storylines leaving this football game. The one coming in for the Patriots, the defense is horrible. I still personally think their defense isn't very good. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. This does give them a little bit of confidence, however, but make no mistake about it, this defense is still bad and still needs fixing, the kind of which I don't think you can do in season with what you have. But we'll get to that when we talk about the Patriots and their defensive performance in this game. From the Bucs side of things, look, who didn't see this one coming? Who didn't see this one coming a mile away? A mile away. As a matter of fact, I'm just a professional football watcher. That's it. I don't claim to be anything else, okay? I don't claim to play a professional football watcher on TV. That's what I actually am. That is actually my title, professional football watcher. As a matter of fact, this is what I had to say after the Bucs nearly escaped with a victory versus the Giants just a mere 4 days ago. Your special teams is a mess. Obviously, the missed field goals were a problem in camp. That's why you got rid of your second-year kicker, Roberto Aguayo. You signed Nick Folk, who won a quote-unquote competition. Both of those guys stunk it up in the preseason. So it really was a winner declared by default. Nick Folk used to be a good kicker. I don't know what happened to him, but he's struggling. And I think it's just mentally. It's a mental block right now for him. But you can't leave 11 points out on the scoreboard. That's how you lose games. You almost lost this game because Nick Folk missed an extra point, missed 2 field goals, and you didn't score a touchdown. And instead had to settle for a chip shot field goal. And on that game winner, had that been 5 yards back, 5 yards back, he misses that kick. You're going to have to address that. That kicker situation, if he doesn't tighten up, is going to cost you a ball game. And you've seen more than your fair share of ball games being lost to field goal kicking. So I'd advise you to bring some kickers in on Tuesday. You know, you don't have to necessarily sign any of them, but just see what's out there. Because Nick Folk right now is struggling. And like I said, it's all mental. The guy can kick. We've seen him be a consistent kicker in this league before. It's all mental with him. And he needs to get through it and get through it quickly because this team going to play a lot of close games this year. It's going to come down to a field goal and an extra point. You can't afford to have those not go through the uprights. It doesn't take rocket science, folks. I watch football. I do this. I watched Hard Knocks. Every single episode, I saw kickers struggling, both of them. Okay, you cut one and you kept the other because the other one was worse than the one you kept. But it wasn't because he won this job outright. Then you watch him struggle throughout the regular season because he struggled in the preseason. What did you expect to happen? We saw this coming a mile away. You could have done something to prevent this. I know it's a short week, hard to go out and get a kicker and try him out and bring him up. He's a kicker, okay? It's not like he's got to pick up a playbook. He's a kicker. You could have tried one out on Tuesday. You could have tried one out on Monday, okay? You could have fixed this. You could have prevented this from happening. Only you can prevent forest fires. You had a chance, you blew it, and it may have cost you a football game. I don't know. The Patriots may have attacked this game differently had Nick Folk been connecting these field goals throughout the course of the game. But he didn't, so they played it close to the vest, and they get away with a 19-14 victory. But you have no one to blame for this debacle but yourself. You've done this for 2 years running now. And I told you I didn't like the pick. I didn't like you moving up, and I didn't like the kicker that you were getting. I told you that on draft day. It was a bad pick, but we're not here to rehash the past. All I'm here to do is tell you, you had an opportunity to fix this problem while it was just a simple leak. Now it's full out monsoon. Now you don't have a choice. You got 10 days to find a new kicker. So I expect the Buccaneers, the next time you see this team on a football field playing a meaningful football game, to see a different place kicker out on the football field. But in any event, thank you for joining me tonight. I am your set man, Louie T, here on Thursday Night Football Overtime. Patriots get it done 19-14. And if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We changing the game here. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting the subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. Also, I have a number of social media platforms that I am a part of. If you want to sync up and link up with what I'm doing, the best way to do that is to follow me on all of my social media platforms, especially Twitter. All of those can be found down below in the description section of this video, where it can be found on each and every single one of my videos. Also, if you would like to donate to this channel, the Louie T Network, this is how you can do it via PayPal. I'm going to set up a number of different alternate routes that you can also donate to this channel. But right now, this is the sole one that I have. And so that link is also down in the description as well. So if you are gracious enough and are able to donate, doesn't matter how big or small, I appreciate them all. I thank you in advance for your ability to give. If you can't, all I ask is that you continue to support this channel the way that you have by watching, liking, sharing, and of course, if you haven't already done so, subscribing to the Louie T Network. That being said, let's jump into the breakdown of this football game, and we'll start with the Patriots. And we'll start with the offense because, of course, I have a lot to say about their defense, which they did perform well tonight. Hats off to them for that. But let's talk about this offense for a second, because we've seen this offense be sort of a chameleon over the years. Whatever they need to do, they do that in order to win. That's probably one of the biggest traits of this offense. Obviously, having Tom TBE doesn't hurt, and usually gives them an edge in every single football game that they play in. That being said, though, this was a game where I think they felt like they needed to run the football a little bit more with no Gronk and having to rely on Hogan, Cooks, Amendola, and James White out of the backfield. They felt the need to maybe run the football a little bit more, and you saw them spread it around. They did run the football in this football game, and I thought they ran it successfully when they did decide to give their running backs some carries. Brady actually tucked it and ran a couple of times to add to the rushing total as well. So that was not by design, obviously, but in any event, I thought they did a really good job of mixing things up. And I thought one of the biggest things offensively in this game that they were able to do was they were able to overcome mistakes. There were a lot of penalties in this game by the Patriots, a lot of penalties that could have derailed drives. They had some poor starting field position on a number of drives. The first scoring drive of the game where they were able to get the field goal, they started at like their own 2-yard line, marched at about 89 yards or so, and had to settle for a field goal. They did a number of big things in this game offensively. Brady was outstanding. He got off to a slow start. The interception on the first possession, which was just un-Brady-like. The ball kind of slipped out of his hand. Maybe he saw color flash, as Romo mentioned on the telecast, but I just thought that one kind of got away from him because the receiver was wide open over the middle of the field, and for him to miss his target that poorly and have it picked off, that's just not something we're accustomed to seeing Brady do. I mean, the man hadn't thrown an interception on the road in 2 years, since 2015, which gives you all the information you need to know as far as how careful he is with the football, home or away. So the fact that that one got away from him like that on the first possession was a little alarming. But after that, he bounced back in true Tom TBE fashion. He did what it is he does, and at one point had 16, I think, straight completions in this game. Was surgical in that section from about the midpoint of the, or maybe the beginning of the second quarter till about the middle point of the third quarter. And then for some inexplicable reason, I felt like the Patriots turned it off, said, hey, this Buccaneers offense, they can't score. And oh, by the way, their field goal kicker, he is struggling. So we don't really need to do much more. Maybe 16 will be enough tonight. And it almost came back to bite them. And even though I picked them to win this game, I almost found myself rooting for the Bucs to find a way to get it done just because I felt like this game was poorly mismanaged. And Bill Belichick, for all of his greatness, and he's normally one of the better game managers in this league, he's been botching game management the last couple of weeks. Last week against Carolina, he botched game management and not giving his team a chance to win late in that ball game, allowing the Panthers to bleed the clock and kick the game-winning field goal instead of using his timeouts to get the football back to Tom TBE. And then this week, not electing to kick a 52-yard field goal with a kicker that hasn't missed this year. Stephen Gostkowski has been outstanding this year. Now, if this were last year where I thought he struggled a little bit, different story. But the man connected on a 58-yard field goal right before halftime against Carolina last week. We know he can drill it from 52. He hasn't shown you anything on the contrary to make you think that he was going to miss. What are you doing punting in that situation? And I get it. I understand. You don't want to give the Bucs any momentum. But what happened to the Bill Belichick that I know that was willing to put a knife to your throat, and if you flinched, if you even made the slightest of moves, he'd cut you right in your jugular and watch you bleed out? This was a guy that was afraid to pull the trigger, had the gun in his hand, bullets loaded. Hey, it's cocked, it's ready, locked, and loaded, and he was scared to pull the trigger tonight. I don't know this dude, okay? And when your defense isn't playing good football, and they haven't been all season long, you would think that that trigger finger would be itching. He would be like, man, just, you flinch, you even move, and I'm pulling the trigger. Lights out, baby. No, he was scared tonight. And scared money don't make money. You know how the game goes. You know the rules to the game, and you need to play. And it almost came back to bite his team in the tuchus tonight because I'll tell you what, Jameis Winston is one of the most clutch quarterbacks in this league. I'll never count that guy out. And he almost brought them back, and it was almost a lesson learned for Bill Belichick because to me, they stopped being aggressive. They decided they were going to run it on first down. They were going to run it on second down, and they were going to try to throw it on third down. They got really conservative in their play calling. When they needed to be less aggressive, they weren't. When they were up and they had momentum, they want to go quick tempo and up to the – you're supposed to be killing the clock at this point. You know the clock is the enemy of the Buccaneers at this point. What are you doing? 13 minutes in this game? You should be going at a nice, leisurely pace. Because if in your mind, if you're already thinking they can't score twice in this game to come back and beat us, then what are you – or at that point, it was 16-7. If you, in your mind you don't think they can score twice to beat you, then why are you hurrying up? Hurrying up to go nowhere. Hurrying up to punt on 4th and 5 from your own 34-yard line. I don't get it. I just didn't understand the lack of aggression down the stretch that allowed the Buccaneers. The Patriots that I know would have said to hell with the clock. We're going to get this first down and win the game. They're not going to see this ball again. That's the Patriots I know. Okay, you run it on first down because that's what you do. You make the Buccaneers use their last time out. That was smart. You throw it on that next down like you did, okay, because it's the 2-minute warning. And the team I know would have been more aggressive. Brady wouldn't have checked it down in that spot to a running back and throw it behind him and incomplete the pass. He would have been aggressive looking for a crosser over the middle for 12 in the game. That's what he would have done. Instead, he checked it down. Okay, now it's third down, and you throw short of the sticks yet again. The Brady I know, he's looking for the jugular vein. He's looking to find, and he had time on both of those plays. The Bucs didn't rush a ton of guys. They gave him opportunities to step up and manipulate the pocket. Like I said, I just thought the approach down the stretch was conservative. Even on the drives preceding that, where they had the football, they were just looking to run out the clock. They were just looking to say, hey, Bucs, we don't think you can score. We're going to run it 2 or 3 times, and we're going to punt it. Instead of picking up first downs, making the Bucs eat up their timeouts, and then really putting them in a bad spot, they said, we're just going to keep punting you the football, pinning you deep in your own territory, and daring you. We are daring you to come back in this game because we don't think you can. And shame on them because it almost happened. But nonetheless, Tom Brady was outstanding in this game. Brandon Cooks was outstanding in this game. Chris Hogan was outstanding in this game. Danny Amendola was outstanding in this game. James White was outstanding in this game. And in the little time that he touched the rock, Dion Lewis was outstanding in this game. And that's all they needed offensively on the night to get the job done. 19 points was enough tonight, and the offense did their part, as well as this Patriots defense, which they haven't done all season long. Let's get to them. I look at this Patriots defense and I say, look, hats off to you for the performance that you put forth tonight. You had to do what you did tonight for this team to win, and you went out and you did it. That being said, I'm still not impressed. I thought the Buccaneers let you off the hook time and time again tonight. I thought that they didn't come with their best game plan to out-execute this Patriots defense. And it's the same problems. You're still not getting pressure on the quarterback. You're still allowing teams to have time in the pocket to survey the field. Everyone wants to blame this secondary. I only blame them for the defensive breakdowns when you can tell there's a lack of communication when Devin Funchess is running wide open in the secondary for an easy walk-in touchdown, or Kelvin Benjamin is streaking down the sideline without a Patriot in sight for a 59-yard gain deep into Patriots territory. That's when I blame this secondary. But if you're talking man-to-man, you get this guy in front of you. This secondary is one of the best secondaries in the league. I don't think this is a talent issue with this Patriots defense in the secondary. The talent deficiency is up front in the front seven. You don't get any pressure on the quarterback. I've already said that. That's not going to change. Now that Dante Hightower is healthy, he's not going to get pressure on the quarterback. That's not going to change. Dietrich Wise Jr. isn't getting consistent pressure on the quarterback. That's not going to change. You're not going to get to the quarterback. Cassius Marsh, not going to get consistent pressure on the quarterback. That's not going to change. The Bucs let you off the hook. Deshaun Jackson was open for a 69-yard touchdown, and Jameis Winston missed him. The opportunities were there. The Buccaneers didn't take advantage. So Cameron Brate dropped the touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal that their kicker missed. They let you off the hook tonight. Your defense still isn't very good. Now, that being said, they played well tonight. I thought Patrick Chung was outstanding tonight. His man-to-man, and this is why I say, to a man in that secondary, you line them up across the board, you won't find a more talented secondary in the league. Chung, McCourty, and Butler, and Stephon Gilmore on the outside. There's not a better foursome in this league unless you look at the Denver Broncos and what they're able to do. But guess what? The Broncos get pressure on the quarterback, so it makes those secondary members that much better. They don't have any help in New England. So those boys got to hold it down without help. I think those guys are among the best in the league, but the front seven is the issue here. That's where the problem is. That's what's going to be the Achilles heel of this team this season. And I don't care what you did tonight, which was impressive in itself. The Bucs let you off the hook. And it's the sign of a young team, and this is what I said, and Bucs fans didn't want to hear this before the season started. It's a sign of a young team that still doesn't know how to beat the good teams in this league. They can beat the Chicago Bears. They can beat the 0-4 Giants. They can beat those teams. They don't know how to beat the good teams in this league quite yet. And it's games like this that are still a big example. At home, big stage, prime opportunity, no Gronk, everything you could ask for. You get your main horse in the backfield back. Everything is lined up for you, and you blow an opportunity to beat the Patriots, who were vulnerable, who were on the ropes, who were staggering, and all you had to do was deliver the knockout blow, and you could not do it tonight. And hats off to the Patriots for finding, this is what the good teams in the league do. This is what the B&B winning factory does. They find ways to win. It's not always pretty. It's not always gritty. It's not always what you expect, but they find a way to get it done. Who thought 19-14 was going to be the final outcome of this game? Not I, said the cat. I didn't think that was going to be the score. I thought this was going to be a fair up into the 20s, maybe some team creeping into the 30s, potentially. I did not see 19-14 as your final score. However, that's what the Patriots have done over the years. By hook or by crook, they find a way to get it done. And if that means winning the game 15-13, they do that. If it means winning the game 19-14, they do that. If it means winning the game 27-23, they do that. And if it means winning the game 36-33 like they did against the Texans, they do that. Whatever they got to do, they do it. They did it here. They got it done. Hats off to them. I still think there's a problem defensively that I just don't see them being able to fix. But we'll see. Matt Patricia has done some magical things with this defense over the years. I could be wrong. I'm just a professional football watcher. I've watched a lot of football in my life. I don't think there's anything the Patriots can do to rectify the problem that they have in the front seven of this defense. But we'll see. You go to the Buccaneers in this game, and you got to be kicking yourself because you let one slip through your fingers. This was a golden opportunity to not only get a big win at home, run your record to 3-1 in the season, and really show the rest of the league that you're not playing around. You're a young team, but you're hungry, and you're looking for respect. And it was a national stage. Everyone's watching. There's no other game in town. Ain't nobody watching no goddamn playoff baseball right now. It's about football. And so you had your chance. And the Patriots were vulnerable. There was no Gronk in this game. You had your chances. And you let them slip right through your fingers. And this is a total organizational loss. The organization let you down by having Nick Folk as your kicker going into the game. The coaching staff let you down by not putting you in better positions to make plays in this football game. I thought you let the Patriots off the hook a number of times, including defensively. How many 2nd and 20s, 1st and 20s, 3rd and 15s are you going to let this Patriots team convert in this game? The Patriots were killing themselves with penalties. Killing themselves. I can't tell you how many times they had 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20 in this game. It was amazing. And yet they converted 1st and 20, 2nd and 20 numerous times in this game. And those led to touchdowns. Those led to field goals. Those weren't just drives that flipped field position. On their first touchdown drive of the game, when they were down 7-3, you had all the momentum in the game. You were up 7-3. Doug Martin gets in. You got him right where you want him. 2nd and 20, and you give up 17 on 2nd and 20 to Cooks to set up 3rd and 3, and then you let Amendola get you for about 11 on 3rd and 3, and boom. Next thing you know, James White down the sideline, and boom, they're in the end zone a couple plays later. And just like that, you would never see the lead again in this game. You can't let teams off the hook, and that's the mark of a young football team that just is still figuring out how to win in this league. Figuring out, and that's why I said they're going to take a step back this year. Bucs fans got mad at me. Look, all I know how to do is speak truth. Until you show me, I don't want to hear about potential. A wise man once told me, son, your potential is going to get me fired. I don't want to hear about potential. I need to see results. You know why I believe in the Tennessee Titans? Because they showed me last year that they could beat some tough teams, some good teams. Okay? So I said, you got a couple of things that travel. They play defense, they run the football, and you showed me you got some toughness, some moxie to you on the road. You can play against some good teams in this league. I said, okay, Tennessee, I'm buying what you're selling. I didn't see that from the Bucs yet. And yeah, you beat Seattle last year when they were struggling. Seattle couldn't score if you put them at the 1 and gave them 1st and goal from the 1 last year. They were struggling when you beat them. What was that score, like 15-12 or some garbage like that? Don't come at me with that last year. That was cute, but Seattle, just like they did early in this year when they couldn't score, all right, you caught them in a time when they couldn't score. I still haven't seen what I've needed to see from this team on a consistent basis that lets me know they can win games like this. You go on the road against Minnesota, what did you do? You threw up all over yourself. That's what this Buccaneers team is yet still. But I have confidence in Jameis Winston. You give him a shot, and that's why this team is going to be dangerous. Because you give him a chance in the fourth quarter, they're going to have a shot. You give him a chance, down a score, Jameis Winston is going to find a way to give his team a chance. It may not ultimately end up in a win like tonight, but he's going to scare the hell out of some teams. He's going to give his team a chance. He's going to put his team in a position where they got a shot to win the ball game like he did last week against the Giants, like he did tonight. Not always going to work out in the team's favor, but like I said, he also needs help. He needs Cameron Brate to catch that touchdown pass. He needs the defense to not give up 2nd and 20, 1st and 20. He needs the defense to find a way to get stops and get off the football field and not allow the Patriots to convert these big. Look, the Patriots had 12 or 13 penalties in this game for well over 100 yards. They were shooting themselves in the foot, and you let them off the hook. All right? I need Jameis to hit that deep ball to Deshaun Jackson, though. It was good to see D-Jax get involved in the offense tonight. Really was, because he was going to start bitching soon. It was going to get ugly in Tampa. I know this isn't a good thing. These aren't the type of players you want on your football team. But I guarantee you, he's upset that he lost, that this team lost. But he's ecstatic that he had 5 for 106 tonight. If this team would have won and he ended up with 1 catch for 18 yards, he would have been pissed off in the locker room after this game. I'm just telling you, that's the type of person Deshaun Jackson is. He wants to win. And winning is the best deodorant and masks all funk. However, at some point, he's going to get frustrated. He got 5 tonight for 106. He's gonna go home happy that he was able to contribute, and that's a good thing that you were able to get him involved in the offense. But you missed out. Should have been 6 for 1. Let's call it 175 and a touch. That might have been the difference in the game. And you got to get the ball to him sooner in game. You saw what he did on the 41-yard catch. How a simple slant almost turned into an 80-yard touchdown. Got to get the ball. You got to get the ball to him sooner in games. Shouldn't take you this long to get him involved in this offense. And again, I don't understand, and I never want to hear coaches say, hey, we tried. If you want to get a player to football, a hitch, a wide receiver screen, a slant, a stop, anything can get a guy involved and get a guy going. It's too easy to get playmakers involved in this league. Mikey didn't touch the football enough tonight. Mikey had the first catch of the game. On a matter of fact, the first 2 catches of the first 2 possessions, he had those, and then I think he went missing. He was AWOL. I was looking for that man on a milk carton. Hadn't seen him. Till the fourth quarter, he catches a pass on one of the final drives of the game. What's going on here, guys? Like, again, coaches not putting players in positions to make plays. I don't understand it. You want to win or don't you? I don't understand it. But in any event, Jameis gave you a shot late in this game. Again, he didn't do his best to help this team win, but his teammates didn't help him either. And so you find yourself in a position late in this ball game. You're down 5, needing a touchdown, and no timeouts. Got to go the length of the field, and you saw what happened. Can't have dumb plays. O.J. Howard can't block a guy in the back. That's just stupid on a 20-yard gain. That's dumb. It's dumb. Why? It just doesn't make any sense. But in any event, you go to the defensive side of football, and I talked about this ad nauseum the first few weeks of the season. I said, where's the pressure? Where's the pressure? Where's Noah Spence? Where's Ayers Jr.? Where are these guys? Where's Gerald McCoy? Where's the pressure? I haven't seen it. Well, you got pressure tonight. I still don't think it's legit. Win off the snap. We're going to threaten your quarterback with immediate pressure. Pressure. I don't think that's what this was tonight. But, hey, look, pressure is pressure any way you can get it. And you got some tonight. Let's hope that this carries over. I knew I wasn't tripping. They showed the stat. 1 sack this season. And they hadn't had a sack in over 120 snaps. Going into tonight's game, into that first possession, got to get to the other team's quarterback, or you're going to allow your defense to be shredded. That's why Case Keenum had 365 on you, because you didn't get any pressure on the quarterback. Got to get to the quarterback. They did that tonight. You saw the end result. Tom TBE, even though he went off for a while there where he seemed like he couldn't miss, they weren't getting in the end zone. They were having to settle for field goals. That's what pressure does. Hell, that first field goal drive, If Ayers doesn't grab his ankle, he's running for them 5 yards in that first down, and then you're giving up a touchdown. That's what pressure does. Okay? It doesn't have to be immediate all the time. It just needs to be effervescent. All right? Omnipresent. Just needs to be everywhere. Brady wasn't comfortable in certain spots tonight. Even when there was time, he wasn't comfortable sometimes. But as you saw, when he gets comfortable, damn it, man. That throw to Cooks, that lob job over those two defenders on that crossing route. Come on, Tom TBE. That throw to James White on the linebacker, Glanton. Come on. Stop. I don't think that was Glanton. I think that was one because the dude got hurt on that play. And it wasn't Glanton. It was like 95 or 92 or something like that. But in any event, come on. But when it was time to buckle down and keep them out of the end zone, for the most part, you did that tonight. So hats off to your defense for keeping it close. And for as much flack as I've given this defense for the lack of pressure on the quarterback, and I know you got guys out, but I thought your backup linebacker stepped up. I thought Kendall Beckwith looked good against the Giants last week. There was one play where he picked Odell Beckham up and slammed his ass on the ground. I said, yeah, okay. Kendall looked like he's ready to play ball. And it didn't matter they were ex-teammates at LSU. He didn't give a damn about that. He picked his ass up and he suplexed him. I said, this boy's playing ball. And I knew he had the potential to do that coming out of the draft. The only reason that he was there for you to take when you got him was because he tore his ACL up in college in his last season at LSU, or else he probably would have been off the board before you even had a chance to select him where you did. So I thought you got yourself a steal there. He looks good. I thought Glanton played well. And so even with your guys out, I thought the defense stepped up and gave you a shot in this game. It wasn't always pretty defensively, but it was enough pressure. There was a play down the sideline to Hogan where if Brady had enough time, he would have gotten that to Hogan for a touchdown. But guess what? Ayers was at his midsection, dragging him down as he was throwing it, and he threw it out of bounds, right over Hogan's head. It would have been a touchdown if he would have had the time. That's what pressure can do for you, and I thought the Bucs defensively did enough to give their team a chance in this ball game, and your special teams let you down. And I talked about this earlier in the show, and I look at, like I said, who didn't see this coming a mile away? I told you I saw this coming. I'm just a professional football watcher. It's what I do, okay? Saw this one coming a mile away, and for those of you who weren't here earlier when I played this, just take a look, man. Your special teams is a mess. Obviously, the missed field goals were a problem in camp. That's why you got rid of your second-year kicker, Roberto Aguayo. You signed Nick Folk, who won a quote-unquote competition. Both of those guys stunk it up in the preseason. So it really was a winner declared by default. Nick Folk used to be a good kicker. I don't know what happened to him, but he's struggling. And I think it's just mentally. It's a mental block right now for him. But you can't leave 11 points out on the scoreboard. That's how you lose games. You almost lost this game because Nick Folk missed an extra point, missed 2 field goals, and you didn't score a touchdown. And instead had to settle for a chip shot field goal. And on that game winner, had that been 5 yards back, 5 yards back, he misses that kick. You're going to have to address that. That kicker situation, if he doesn't tighten up, is going to cost you a ball game. And you've seen more than your fair share of ball games being lost to field goal kicking. So I'd advise you to bring some kickers in on Tuesday. You know, you don't have to necessarily sign any of them, but just see what's out there. Because Nick Folk right now is struggling. And like I said, it's all mental. The guy can kick. We've seen him be a consistent kicker in this league before. It's all mental with him. And he needs to get through it and get through it quickly because this team going to play a lot of close games this year. It's going to come down to a field goal and an extra point. You can't afford to have those not go through the uprights. Bottom line is we saw this one coming. And it's a shame that the Buccaneers had an opportunity in this game to beat the Patriots, and their field goal kicking situation, it doomed them. I mean, it's one thing to miss, and one thing with struggling kickers that you never want to do, and I've said this so many times because kicking is a mental aspect of the game. It's a mental psyche situation. One thing I don't like doing with my kickers that I know have a fragile psyche at this moment is I don't like sending them out on the field for end-of-the-half field goals that are impossible distances. I don't like sending them out on the field for 50-plus yards. Don't send them out on the field for a 56-yard field goal. Or in the case in this game, a 54-yarder for Nick Folk. He's struggling. He can't afford to see that field goal go. And again, the Patriots afforded. I told you the Patriots did stupid stuff in this game. They tried to give you an opportunity to win this game. 2 roughing the passer penalties at the end of the half to put you in the field goal range. Are you kidding me? I'm a professional football watcher. Been watching it my entire life. I've never seen that happen before, ever. At the end of a half, 2 straight with no timeouts. A team is they're willing to go to halftime with the score the way that it is. And the Patriots said, no. We're setting you up for later. This is some reverse Jedi mind trick bullshit that they did. We're going to send your kicker out on the field for a 54-yard field goal that we know he's going to miss, and is going to play with his mind the rest of the game. Bill Belichick is brilliant. Okay, he's brilliant. Nah, he didn't do that shit on purpose, but damn it. If I was delusional enough as a Patriots fan, if I was delusional enough, I would say that he did that shit on purpose. Because I knew Nick Folk, after he missed that kick, he was done. Damaged goods for the remainder of the game. You never want to send your kicker out there and put them in a position where they can miss and have them see that football miss. As poorly as he kicked that one, it was going to affect him the rest. The man missed like a 27-yard field goal. God, you got to make that. You can't miss that one. It's only one thing to miss from 54, maybe from 47. You can't miss from 27. It's a shame, but like I said, this organization, this is a total organizational loss here because they could have fixed this problem before it cost them a game. It almost cost them a game last week, but it didn't. You had a chance to fix the problem before it cost you a game, and you didn't. And I know it was a short week. No excuses. You knew this was a problem the minute you hit the locker room after the win. You should have been on the phones calling up kickers for tryouts on Monday. Again, it's a kicker. He doesn't have to learn a playbook. He doesn't have to learn terminology. He's just got to line his ass up and kick it through the uprights. You telling me you couldn't have found another guy out on the streets that couldn't have done that for you tonight, help you win this football game? I'm not saying. I'm just saying. One side note. Boy, it was good to see Doug E. Flash back in the lineup. You can't tell me he doesn't make a difference. Can't tell me he doesn't look better running the football. And I like my Jaquiz Rodgers off the bench. Thank you very much. Even though he started the game, he didn't get a ton of touches afterwards. That's how I like my Jaquiz Rodgers, okay? In limited spurts. I can take him here and there. I don't want to see him with 16 to 25 carries in any game the rest of the season unless Doug is not playing. Period. And so let's get to your comments in this ball game. Patriots survive 19-14, get to 3-2 on the season, continue this crazy streak of not losing 2 games in a row. Meanwhile, the Bucs really going to lament this one for the next 10 days before they play again, as they do not get it done and drop to 2-2 on the season. Let a golden opportunity to win this football game slip through their fingers. All right, let's get to your comments. Let's get all the way back up to the top and see what we got. All right, Mondraw says, I'm pretty sure that Aguayo could at least hit the ones inside 30 yards. Look, at this point, doesn't matter. His confidence was just as bad as Nick Folk's was. So at the end of the day, he probably would have missed these kicks just as the same. You know what I mean? Like, his confidence was just as bad and in the dumps as Nick Folk's was. So I don't know if that would have made much of a difference or not. The Mister says, Bucs going 9-7 this year. They will remain the same. They should hire Jeff Fisher. Now, that's a perfect marriage. He's got a little bit of jokes for y'all. I don't even know if they go 9-7. That division is tough. Every year that they beat the Panthers, they beat them because Cam Newton doesn't play. And unless Cam doesn't play in one of their 2 matches, they know how to beat Derek Anderson. And even sometimes they don't even do that. But barring Derek Anderson playing against them, they're probably going to get swept by the Panthers because they struggle with Carolina. They know how to play Atlanta. They may get Atlanta once, and they're not afraid of the Saints. But let's just say they go 2-4 in the division, which isn't out of the realm of possibility because that's right around what this team usually does when everybody in the division is relatively healthy. I can't see them getting a 9 unless they do what they did last year, which was, I think they beat Carolina once. They beat New Orleans. They might have swept New Orleans last year. They beat Carolina once for sure. And I think they beat Atlanta once, if I'm not mistaken. So, or Atlanta might have swept them. I think they got Atlanta once, though. In any event, I think they went like 3-3, 4-4 in the division. I don't know if they're doing that this year. We'll see. Hard to say. Reese says, I hate kickers. I mean, look, they're part of the game. And there's nothing worse as a fan than losing games because your field goal kicking situation is dire. But your organization had a chance to fix this. They knew this was a problem back in the preseason. Neither one of these dudes should have made your final roster. Neither one of them were good enough to be on your 53-man roster. Both of these kickers were stinking it up. And we watched them struggle on Hard Knocks. Both of them. There should have been another guy that you brought in, and there were young kickers galore in the league. There were like 5 teams this year that drafted kickers. And like 3 of those kickers didn't make those teams. There were enough. Look, I just watched. I'm trying to think of the team. Matter of fact, we just played them. The Chiefs just took Harrison Butker off of the Carolina Panthers practice squad because they drafted him out of Georgia Tech. A highly decorated kicker that you saw miss 1 kick but came back, made the game winner, and made like 4 other kicks the rest of the night. He was outstanding. You trying to tell me you couldn't have went and got him? You trying to tell me Jake Elliott, the hero of the Eagles win over the Giants 2 weeks ago, kicked a 61-yard field goal from Memphis, a rookie that was drafted by Cincinnati in the 5th round that they cut because they decided to keep a terrible kicker that's going to cost them games down the stretch. You mark my words, Randy Bullock is going to cost them some games. He already missed one versus Green Bay in a game that they lost in overtime. I'm not going to say much more about that because you know how I feel about Randy Bullock. But in any event, you could have went and got him. There are plenty young kickers out there. Kickers are like running backs. They come a dime a dozen. There are a ton of them out there. There's no reason for you to have a bum kicker on your roster. And yet, you thought it was okay to keep Nick Folk on your team because you just thought he was going to come out of his funk. Well, he's not, and now you have to pay for it. You have no one to blame but yourself. Dark Sealer 1995 says, the kicker was god-awful, but when are we going to start putting blame on Winston? It's his 3rd year, and the offense is loaded, yet he still is extremely inaccurate, and he's hot and cold. I'm not putting this one on Jameis Winston. The only play that was a game-changing play that he didn't make was a deep ball to Deshaun Jackson. That's going to take time. You don't just wake up and start hitting deep balls with a guy with the talent of Deshaun Jackson. It takes time to develop the rapport. How do I throw this ball? Do I put more air under it? Do I allow him to run? Do I just launch it? What do I do? It's tough. They're still working out the kinks there. It's going to take time. But once they hit that, they could make beautiful music together. Winston was not his sharpest tonight, but he didn't have help. Cameron Brate dropped the touchdown right in his chest. He made up for it later on in the game with a catch for a touchdown, but they ended up having to settle for a field goal that they ultimately missed. If he catches that touchdown, again, you can't put it all on Winston. He's not out there by himself. Other guys have to make plays, and they didn't do that tonight. Reese says, Lou, you got to give us props. We had this one. No, I don't have to give you anything, Ree. We played our asses off, goddamn kickers. I don't have to give you anything, Ree. You had opportunities in this game. Don't just blame the kicker. Yeah, he was funky. Yeah, he was a huge part of why you lost this game. No doubt about it. But your defense gave up too many long. The Patriots tried to give you this game. You didn't want it. So no, I don't have to give you anything, Reed. You want respect? You take it. Respect is earned. It is not given. You either take respect or you earn it. But ain't nobody giving you anything. You had a chance to take some respect tonight. You refused to take respect. You want somebody to give it to you. You said, Lou, we're going to show you. We're going to beat Minnesota. Then you tried to give me the excuse. We had all these people sick. Guys had the flu. I don't want to hear it. Teams got injured guys. Gronk didn't play tonight. Teams have injured players all the time. You got to overcome those injuries and find a way to win. That's what the good teams do. You want respect? Go take it. Don't ask me for it. I'm not going to give it to you. You got to take that respect. You got to earn that respect. This was a golden opportunity to do it. Y'all wasted it. Pepe, the YouTuber, says, I would be shocked if they don't release Folk. He was a hot-ass man. Oh, he's gone. The minute he missed the second field goal, he was done. Then he made it worse by missing the chip shot. Because you can explain away a 54 and a 49-yard field goal. You can explain those away. You can't explain a 27-yard chip shot. There's no excuse. There's no business. There's no room in this league for misses inside of 30 yards. All right, so he was done after the second miss. The third miss, they were like, Hey, get on the phone. In the third quarter, their GM was on the phone calling up kickers, lining them up at that point. Jason Light was lining up kickers after the third miss. He's done. Dark Sealer 1995 says, Winston lost them that game. He had all day in the pocket and still looked bad. There's no more excuse for this man. They got Howard, D-Jack, Evans, Martin. I'm not putting this on Winston. If it weren't for Winston, they wouldn't have even been in this game. If it weren't for Winston late, they wouldn't have been in this game. So, no, I can't do that. Reese says, we had that one. I'm so upset. You should be. The Mister says, fact, I hope they keep him so we can open up our new roof in Atlanta every time his sorry ass kicks so we can feel the breeze. Don't worry. He won't be around much longer in Tampa. He may get another job somewhere else because that's how the league works with kickers. But he won't be kicking for Tampa Bay. I'll tell you that right now. Cloud says, Folk needs to be cut. He's gone. Trust me. No doubt about that. Reese says, Lou, we had that game. We pressured Brady. We made him fumble, intercepted him. It was Folk. Should be 3rd and 1. Look, bro, I hear you. I told you y'all pressured him tonight. I thought your defense gave you an opportunity despite giving up a ton of 1st and 2nd and 20s. I thought y'all battled and y'all gave your team a chance defensively, but at the end of the day, you didn't make enough plays. You can blame the kicker. If you know your kicker is struggling, how about you take the football off of his leg, off the edge of his foot, off the tip of his toe, and put it in the end zone. You already know the struggles of your kicker. Don't leave it up to chance. Find a way to get it in the end zone. You didn't do that tonight. So, again, I can't give you that out. Yeah, your kicker was horrible. Yeah, your kicker was horrendous. But my thing is, we don't know how this game would have played out had he made kicks. That's the point that I have, is that if he makes kicks, I think the Patriots attacked the game. They just didn't think you could score twice. And they were right. They said, we dare you. That's why they didn't try the 52-yarder, because they didn't want to give you a short field in case their kicker missed, which he hasn't missed all year. I don't know why Belichick wouldn't kick that field goal, because Gostowski hasn't missed all year, and he's been money for him. But in any event, that was a slap in the face. That told you all you needed to know about their thought process. Belichick basically said, they can't score twice. We're going to kick this. We're going to punt this football, pin them deep, because we don't think they can score twice. Ironically, you actually scored on that possession with the D-Jack's 41-yard hookup, and you move it all the way down the field. And I think you actually got in on that drive. That might have been the one you got in, or it might have been the 27-yard field goal that he missed. In any event, I can't do it. Reese says, we're almost there, Lou. Gave the defending champs all they wanted. No more. See, I had to explain this to Redskin fans on Monday. No moral victories, Ree. I'm sorry, bro. Those don't count. These aren't 9 and 10-year-olds who you're trying to instill confidence in. Hey, we'll get them next time, Tiger. But here's your bag of chips and your juice box. We'll get them next time, guys. See you at practice on Tuesday at 5:30. All right? Get ready to come out here and work hard, guys. We gave it our best effort. We almost beat the best team in our league. Great job, fellas. We'll see you on Monday. I'm so proud of you guys. They're not 9 and 10 years old, Ree. These are grown-ass men. You don't get moral victories. You don't get a little gold pendant on your chest for going out and giving it all you got. Giving it one for the Gipper, the old Gipper. You don't get one of those, Ree. These are grown-ass men. Either you win or you lose. There are no moral victories. If you think your team is a playoff team, there are no moral victories. You know what teams get to have moral victories? The Cleveland Browns get to have moral victories. The New York Jets, the San Francisco 49ers, they get to have moral victories. Quote unquote good teams, up and coming teams like the Bucs, you don't get moral victories. You either win or you lose. Back to the drawing board. Buffalo pregame says, look like the Patriots answered the criticism like they always do. Though, yeah, Nick Folk shaking my head. Yeah, he was awful, but I'm not convinced that they fixed all of their defensive woes. I'm not willing to go that far yet. I thought the Buccaneers, they let them off the hook on some opportunities to score some touchdowns in this game and make this game a totally different ball game. Dre True Statement says, failed third downs, missed field goals, dropped passes, see Cameron Brate, lost the game for the Bucs. Winston wasn't sharp. you can't beat New England like that. Pretty much summed it up. I mean, if you're gonna come at the champs, you better not miss. You better not miss. You missed tonight. Field goals, touchdown opportunities, second and first and long. You missed opportunities. You come at the champ, you better not miss. Y'all missed tonight. Too many times. Dre True Statement says, yeah, the Patriots tried to lose with all the penalties and the Bucs still couldn't win. Didn't they do that against the Raiders last year? Had penalties from the other team and still lost? Yeah, I think they might have had a game like that last year. When you're a good team, you can overcome mistakes. It's the bad teams in this league that can't overcome mistakes. But that being said, you don't want to make the type of mistake. The Patriots aren't the same team. Like, they can't get away with those types of mistakes. They should have lost this game. You can't make those types of mistakes. You can make those kind of mistakes when your defense is what you expect it to be, like the Patriots have been for the last 4 or 5 years straight, and the offense is what they are. Yeah, you can make some mistakes and overcome them. They had 2 turnovers in this game. I don't think they generated a turnover. I don't remember the Bucs fumbling or throwing an interception, doing anything stupid. They won the turnover battle. You win the turnover battle 2-0. The Patriots definitely had more penalties and yardage in this game. You're supposed to win. At home, you're supposed to win that game. They only scored. If you would have told me before this game started, the Patriots are only going to score 19, and they're going to turn it over twice, and they're going to have 12 penalties for 108 yards, would you have told me this was a Patriots win or a loss? I don't have to answer that because you know the answer to that. Dana Elmore says, we beat Kansas City last year in Arrowhead too. Yeah, you did. I remember that game. I also remember Alex Smith throwing a boneheaded pick in the end zone that would have put you away in that game too. But again, no excuses. Chris Conte made a hell of a play in the end zone to pick off Alex Smith that led to the game-winning score. I can't take that away from you. That was a hell of a win on the road in Arrowhead. They gave you that game, but you took that game from them. If they wanted to give it to you, you said, hey, you're giving, we'll take it. Thanks. So that was a big win on the road. But that wasn't a game where I said, wow, you went in there and you dominated that and you came out with a W. I saw a team that was on the ropes and you just threw one haymaker and it landed. And you put the Chiefs down because they made a mistake. But again, look, you got to find a way to win in this league. That's what it's about. That was a big win last year. But there were so many games last year where I looked at it, I said, if you're a good team, if you have aspirations of making the playoffs, find a way to win this game. There were a lot of those games in there last year that I felt like you need to win this game. Hell, down the stretch, all you needed to do was win a game or two. You would have made it to the playoffs. You couldn't even do that. And you played the Saints of all teams. You play some bum teams. Again, it's division foes. I get it. It's family business. Find a way to win. Couldn't do it last year. I watched you go into New Orleans last year, a place that you normally play good football, and I watched you give up like 37 points in that game when you lost, I think. Whatever it was, late in the season. Any event. Reese says, Kendall Beckwith has been a pleasant surprise, Lou. This linebacker core will be lit when Superman and Quan come back. Yeah, you've always been loaded with linebackers. And the drafting of Beckwith, even the other guy that was out there, and I forgot his name. Start with a G. Forgot his name that damn quick. Even he looks good. So you just got guys out there that can play. Y'all stay with linebackers. Stay deep with linebackers. Excuse me. Dre True Statement says, the Bucs are cursed at kicker. He said, may have started when they took one in the second round. You just don't do that. You can do that. The Raiders took Sebastian Janikowski in the first round. You only do that when you are assured that this guy is a can't-miss kicker. Like, one thing you couldn't question, we didn't know how accurate Seabass was going to be coming out of college. He was extremely accurate at Florida State when they drafted him in 2000, okay? But one thing was for sure. The man had a damn leg on him, okay? The man could kick the football legitimately from 70 yards. Was it going to go in? We couldn't tell, but he had the distance, all right? With Aguayo, I told you from day one, I'm not sure that this man even has leg strength. He was the most accurate kicker in Florida State in college football history because a lot of his kicks were coming inside of 40 yards. You go look at his history beyond 40 yards, beyond 50, he was atrocious. And I'm looking at his leg and I'm like, these kicks are barely making it or coming up short. He does not have NFL distance. So I thought it was a bad selection. I thought it was poorly used resources to trade up and select him. I didn't like it, but again, you got to learn from your mistakes. Hopefully they learn from their mistake. Vegeta's Dark Side. Let's see. I think I had a whole bunch of comments just skipped over. So yes, Dana Elmore to reinforce. That was a big win last year at Kansas City. I can't take that away from you guys. That was a big win. Vegeta's Dark Side says, maybe they need to fire the special teams coordinator. Folk did a decent job last season, 2 straight kickers with issues. Now, this isn't a field goal. This isn't a special teams. He didn't tell them how to kick. You know, all he's telling them to do is focus on your points. You know, if you're a guy that needs to drive the football, you know, your leg needs to be in a certain place, certain steps you take approaching the football, that you don't fire your special teams coordinator because of that. That's on the kicker. Like I said, it's a mental block. Much like a putter in golf, where if you miss a couple of putts, now it's in your head. You know, just like a shooter in basketball. You miss a couple, now it's in your head. You know what I mean? It happens. You know, baseball, approaching the plate, guys go through slumps. It's in their head. It's all mental. Then you fix a couple of things, you tweak a couple of things, and all of a sudden you get confidence back. You start hitting the football or hitting the ball again. Same thing here. He just needs confidence again, but you're not going to gain it. And the Bucs just don't have time to allow him to gain it back. Atlas says, I'm not going to lie, Lou. I'm so effing mad that the kicking problems on this team have become so crippling that it cost us 1 and almost 2 games this season. We had this game FFS. Yeah. I tried to warn you guys. I tried to warn you in the preseason. I tried to warn you after last week's game. This is not going to work. It's not going to work. You guys need to address this before it costs you a game. It hadn't cost you one, and I think him kicking the game winner might have saved his job. But the fact that he had missed 2 previous times and an extra point in that game should have been more than enough evidence that despite him making the game winner, we can't chance this moving forward. We've got to find someone else. And I'm upset at the fact that Jason Light and company didn't sit down, that they didn't brainstorm together and come out of a meeting saying, you know what, we have to address this now before it costs us. Atlas says, Lou, you're giving Billy B too much credit here. The kicker is just that bad. I mean, I was joking when I said they roughed the kick Jameis Winston twice so that he could miss on purpose. Bottom line is they had opportunities in this game, period. The Bucs had opportunities. They let them slip through their fingers. Ricky L says, some crazy guy said Mike Evans isn't even top 10 wide receiver. Why would you even address that? Some things are better left unaddressed. You don't even need to answer that. FBG Tony says, Bucs F me up big time. Lacking fools blew too many opportunities for points in this game. Pitiful. A lot of people feel that way, including some people that picked the Bucs for the win tonight. The Soundwave 92 says, how fast do you see Nick Folk packing his bags out of Tampa Bay? He's done to me after I'd say if I'm the Bucs, I'm trying to address it as soon as possible. But they may wait till Tuesday is usually the day teams try out players, kickers, etc. So I don't know if they'll wait till after this week to see if anybody else releases a kicker on their team or what may have you. But there are kickers out there right now looking for work that could come in and do a better job than this guy, and they'll find somebody. Dre True Statement says, Tampa Bay beat us once week 1 of the season. Yeah, okay, I remember because 2 years ago, Tampa Bay went into New Orleans in week 1 and won. That blew me away. I didn't see that. And then last year, they went into Atlanta in week 1 and won that game. I just remember one season, Winston, and it might have been 2 years ago, on like a 3rd and 20, ran for like 21 on a play where he just refused to go down, and the Bucs beat you guys in Tampa. But I think that was 2 years ago. So, yeah, I remember they beat you in week 1 in the Georgia Dome, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, that was impressive by the Bucs. So we'll see what they do. Last year, I thought they had some success in the division. I don't know if they'll have that same success this year. Enrique Iglesias, now playing. Enrique Valencia says, something is up with your notifications. I have the notifications on, but yet I don't get any message when you're streaming. I don't have the answer to that. I don't know why you wouldn't be getting notifications. I would tell you to turn them off and turn them back on again. That's probably the best advice I can offer you. I don't know why that is, but I would, if I were you guys, turn the notifications off and turn them back on and see if that helps. Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to fix that, guys. I'm sorry about that. FBG Tony says, my man did the Blair Walsh impersonation. Yeah, I'm telling you, and Blair Walsh is kicking good this year. He did miss one, I think, against the Colts, a long one. But for the most part, Blair Walsh had a mental block, man. That's what these kickers, they go through these types of situations. Enrique Valencia says, Jameis was bad this game. Outside that fourth quarter drive, he was dreadful today. 2 inaccurate, bad decisions. Well, he's a guy that's going to make bad decisions. That's something you're going to have to live with if you're the Buccaneers. You watched it on Hard Knocks. If you didn't, his quote was something to the effect of, look, some guys, this is just what they are. John Gruden came and talked to him and talked to him about the mistakes. And, Gruden talked about having Brett Favre and how, he would drive them crazy with some of the throws he would make and the mistakes because he was a gunslinger. And Jameis said, look, man, you can't change the way a guy is. A quarterback is the way he is. You can fine-tune certain things, but his temperament, that's just who he is. And that was his way of saying, look, I'm going to always try to make a play because that's who I am. So even when something's not there, I don't want to give up on the play. I might make a few bad decisions and some bad throws that I probably shouldn't make, but that's me. For every one of those I make, there's also going to be a time where your jaw is going to drop because I'm going to make a play. So you got to take the good with the bad. But as far as him being inaccurate, there was some inaccuracies tonight. I mean, he threw it damn near 50 times tonight. And the completion percentage was not good. But that being said, it is what it is. It's going to be like that sometimes. And give credit. You guys, I love how you guys are killing Jameis for inaccuracies. How many passes did Patrick Chung break up that were right on the money, but it was just a great play by a guy in man-to-man coverage, knocking the football away? I mean, those sorts of things happen. Got to give credit to the defense, too, sometimes. Cloud says, that New England secondary is good. I need them to stop being so good so that they can put Rowe in the game so we can get a 3rd-round pick. Unless injuries happen, I'm trying to tell you, he's not getting on the field because their secondary is talented. FBG Tony says, Pats were on their C- game and they still bust their young ass, laughing my ass off. They didn't bust their ass. They won by 5. And they literally needed the last play of the game to preserve the victory. But, for the most part of the game, they were up. I thought they got conservative late and it almost cost them. But in any event, Reese says, see D-Jax on that slant loop, boy, was flying. I've seen it for years in D.C. and in Philly. I know what the dude is capable of, which is why I can't understand why he's only touching the football 2-3 times a game. He should be getting 7 to 9 targets a game. Easy. Because you see what he's capable of on a shallow underneath route. I know in Washington, we would run him on shallow crosses just to get the ball in his hands because we knew if we got him a block or two and he was able to get to the outside, look out. You could turn a 5-yard shallow cross on 3rd and 7 into 77 yards and a touchdown on the blink of an eye. The Mister says, what's your take on Doug Martin's return? Because personally, I think they need 1,000 yards out of him. I told you at the end of the breakdown that I thought he was outstanding in this game. and it was good to see him back. I thought he ran hard. I thought he made decisive cuts. I thought he exuded the patience, though, that they also need from him. But when it was there, he stuck his foot in the ground and he went. And I thought he was outstanding in this game. And for it to be his first game back, they didn't want to overwork him. You know, he hasn't really had a lot of contact since the preseason. So they only gave it to him 13 times. But I think he had 74 yards on just 13 carries and a touchdown. I would have liked to have actually seen him run it some more because I thought they had a ton of success when they ran the football with him in this game. Reese says the D hasn't been all together since week 1, and that was for one half. When Quan and Levante come back, look out. We'll see. Sounds good. Sounds real good. Clean Senpai says, I never got the Bucs hype. Inconsistent on both sides of the ball, especially their defense. Well, they went 9-7, and everybody loves Jameis Winston. So do I. That's where the hype stems from. You got a young, good quarterback in this league, there's going to be hype around your team. Just look at the teams. Philadelphia Eagles, what did they do last year? Nothing. You know why everybody was hype on them this year? Yeah, they had a nice offseason when they got Carson Wentz some weapons, but it's because of Carson Wentz more than anything else. Everyone's excited about him more so than the sum of the parts on that team. You look at the Titans, everyone's excited about the Titans. Yeah, they can run the football. Yeah, their defense is okay. Couldn't tell last week when they gave up 57. But no, they're more excited about that team because of the potential of Marcus Mariota. You look at this Bucs team, same thing. Yeah, the Bucs defense, it's okay. They can't get pressure on the quarterback. But yeah, the defense is okay. They got some weapons now with D-Jax and Howard and Braid and Mikey. Yeah, they got some stuff. Martin comes back in the backfield, but everyone's excited because Jameis Winston is their quarterback. No one's excited about the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins have plenty of talent. Nobody's excited about the Dolphins. You know why? Because Jay Cutler is their quarterback. Nobody's excited about them because you got to have the quarterback to make people excited. That's why everyone's excited. So that's where you get all of the hype from. Young quarterback that a lot of people believe in. And I believe in him too. The Mister says, but let's be honest. What kicker could they even go out and sign? If there were that many good kickers out there, they'd be signed. Instead, they're at the crib watching that bullshit with a brew like me. No, check this out. There are some kickers out there that can kick in this league. There's just 32 jobs. That's it. Now, your job is to go out and find the guy that can come in and get the job done. Look at what happened with the Raiders. They got this guy like Del Vecchio kicking for them. Where'd they find this guy? Left-footed kicker, looks a lot like Seabass, banging them home from 52, 54. That week 1 win versus the Titans, you know who got the game ball in that 26-16 victory? The Del Vecchio guy got the game ball. You know why? Because he banged one from 54, another one from 52, and another kick to put the game away from 47. They found him off the streets, man. Nobody was beating that man's door down. The Raiders just knew something. You got to do your homework. See, the thing about kickers in this league, teams are lazy. They want the easy retread kicker. They want to go out and get Randy Bullock, even though he stinks. Well, he's kicked in this league before, so we'll just go get him. They're lazy. Go do some homework. Go find a guy that's young, that's looking for an opportunity, that kicked in college, that had some success, a guy that's kicking in the Arena League or something. Go find a guy that isn't a retread. Now, I'm not saying there aren't good retread kickers out there. Robbie Gould is kicking for some team right now and doing a hell of a job. And I don't think he's missed all season. I think he's kicking for some team in red. I don't know which one, but I remember seeing him kick for some team in red. And I don't think he's missed all season. And I thought at one point his career was about over. You just got to know which retread kickers you can go and kick the tires on. But the problem is GMs and teams around the league are lazy. Go do your homework and go find a good kicker. They're out there. You see how the Saints found Will Lutz? No, is he the best kicker, but he's good enough, and he's got a hell of a leg. He wasn't drafted. You can find these dudes. They're out there. Stop being lazy. Go find one. Dre True Statement says, exactly. Seabass had a generational bronze leg and a foot. Aguayo is an average kicker. Again, I can't state that enough. The Mister says, and check out Jay Feely calling Sorry, calling himself an expert kicker with all the duds and missed kicks he had for us at the Georgia Dome. Jay Philly had a solid career, man. Leave that man alone. He's just trying to make a living and get a check like everybody else, man. Leave that man alone. Let him get his check. Atlas says, Folk isn't even getting back on the team plane. Well, I don't know why he would need to get on the team plane. They're in Tampa Bay. I don't know why they would need to fly. But, okay, he's not getting on the team plane. We'll go with that. He says, I imagine it'll be like 3 days till we get a new one. But I assume they'll have a new kicker before the next game. That's all that matters. The Soundwave 92 says, would you say that tonight's game was more of the Bucs offense playing basic fundamental football, or did the Patriots defense actually show up? I'd say that it was more of the Bucs playing basic fundamental football. Because I thought there were opportunities. First of all, I thought the Bucs ran the football extremely well. I just told you Doug Martin had 13 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. I thought they could have exploited that a little bit more, but they didn't. Instead, they elected to let Jameis Winston throw it 49 times when they could have just kept running the football where they had success. On their lone touchdown drive of the first half, a lot of that was on the ground with Doug Martin churning out yards. So I don't understand why they got away from that, but okay, whatever. Again, I'm just a professional football watcher. I don't know what I'm talking about. So I felt like there were opportunities to be taken advantage of in this game. I will give the Patriots some credit. They made plays. Patrick Chung, like I said, was outstanding. I thought Butler was. I thought he played a really solid game as well. But make no mistake about it, Deshaun Jackson was behind the defense for a touchdown, overshot him. Cameron Brate had a touchdown in the end zone. It was great coverage by McCourty, but it was a better throw and it should have been caught for a touchdown. There were opportunities in this game, and the Bucs failed to take advantage. So I wouldn't be too hype on what I saw from the Patriots in this game, because again, I always go back to my initial point is that they're still not getting pressure on the quarterback. That's what scares me the most about this defense, and I didn't see any change in tonight's game. Reese says, I'm being redundant, Lou. I know. I just feel like we could really have something special if we could put some things together. That's 16 of the teams in the league, Ree. You're not the only fan of a team that is right on the cusp or mediocre. You're one of 15 teams that are either 2-2 right now or 1-3 that feel the same way. If we could put this together, if we could stop making these mistakes, we could be a good football team. That's what this league is about. Robbie is with the Niners. Thank you, Cajun Red 63. I knew he was with a red team. I just couldn't think of which one. And he hasn't missed all season. Robbie Gold has been as good as gold this year. You can find these retreads, man. You just got to know what you're looking for. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Vegeta's Dark Side says maybe they should sign Marshall Cohen, a kicker the Vikings had in the preseason. Not perfect, but young with a leg. He nailed a 58-yarder in preseason. Exactly. There are guys out there. He may not be a finished product, but he may be a young kicker you can grow with. And next thing you know, he's on your team for the next 7 years, and he's been an outstanding kicker for you. That's the guy you should be looking for. One of those guys. Not a retread kicker, but again, if you need a retread to get you through this season until you can evaluate kickers in the college ranks next year, knock yourself out. But you got to do better. That's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so. And so that's going to do it for your man Louie T here tonight. Thank you guys for joining me here on the program. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on Louie T Network. Bucs let a golden opportunity slip through their slippery, greasy-ass fingers with a 19-14 defeat at the hands of the New England Patriots, who avert disaster in nearly blowing this one and hold on 19-14 as they improve their record to 3-2, and now they get 10 days to heal up before their next contest. Most likely Gronk will be back for that one, but then again, we said the same thing about Sam Bradford, 3 weeks ago, and he still hasn't come back for the Vikings. So who knows with some of these injuries? He was a late scratch in this game. Who knows the severity of his thigh? But in any event, they get it done. And so now they can lick their wounds with a win, go back to the drawing board, see if they can improve this defense some more, and do it with a smile and a dub as they go to 3-2 with the 19-14 victory over the Bucs. For the Bucs, damn, this one stings. I'm not gonna lie. Easily could have kept pace with the teams in your division at 3-1 with this win. Instead, you dropped to 2-2. Now you're tied with the Saints. Saints have a chance to push you all the way down to last place if they're able to get a win in week number. Or matter of fact, Saints have a bye week. One of 4 teams: Denver, New Orleans, Washington, and the Falcons all have byes this week. So looks like you'll be sharing a slice of last place with the Saints at 2-2. Could be worse. You could be 1-3 if you didn't beat the Giants last week. Glass half full, but glass could be even fuller. And you could be 3-1 right now if you would have did some things better in this ball game versus the Patriots. In any event, that's going to do it for your man, Louie T. I'm heading out. I want you to enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will reconvene on Sunday, start breaking down some of these games, and got a big Sunday night game. All right, Chiefs at Texans. Should be a lot of fun. Deshaun Watson on the big stage yet again. That should be intriguing football, to say the least. Enjoy all of the festivities. If you want to partake in some playoff baseball, knock yourself out, man. Have at it. No football the next couple of days. Should give you an opportunity to do that. In any event, thank you guys for joining me on the program. This has been Thursday Night Football Overtime. Patriots get it done, 19-14, over the Tampa Bay Bucs. I'm your man, Louie T. Signing off. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.